All right, so Christmas is gonna be here soon, and I'm just waiting on all my gifts and packages to come into the mail because I don't. You guys should know I don't do Christmas shopping in the store. I just don't do that. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry, have to go and take care of something. But anyway, so I order everything online because I don't go into stores and shop. It's just not my thing. Hasn't been my thing for a long, long time. We're talking a long time. And so it also happens to be just a busy time of year anyway for just the mail and the postal, like UPS and FedEx and all those people. It's just busy, right? This year especially. So, hopefully I get everything in the mail. Actually, Zoe got a present for Noel, and I paid for it, but like she got a present for Noel. Like we ordered it a while ago and it hadn't even got here. I ordered something just the other day, placed the order and got it today. You know what I mean? But we still haven't gotten that one thing, and it showed that both of them would arrive at the same time, even though I ordered this one thing just a couple of days ago, and that's still the other thing still didn't happen. So I don't know. It's kind of strange. But anyway, you probably don't care. It's not what the video is about. Make sure you join our Discord because it's down in the description box below. We're adding people slowly, which is great. We have a lot of different discussions in there. There's people that really keep things kind of lively, and I love that. So make sure you join the community because that is where we talk about stuff all the time. And I can really get in there and give some detail, and other people can give their opinions too, right? Well, I got this Ask HershNoeie. And this person said, and not technically an Ask HershNoeie, they just basically asked a question, and sometimes that happens, and so I put it as an Ask HershNoeie. They said, I live in Atlanta. I'm relocating to the Seattle Metro sometime next month. They're going to be renting. I have several job submissions in each direction of Seattle-Tacoma district. I'm looking for a social life as a 28-year-old single male moving alone. Also want to be near some water and outdoor activity. Okay, so that's all there is here, is water and mountains and hills, trees. Will Renton be on the more suburban side? Yes, it will. And $60,000 to $80,000 a year, depending upon which job I land. Can you suggest an area that will be within those earning means that will still offer a city feel somewhat? Okay, here's the thing. Now, some people may disagree. It depends on what your view of a city is. Okay? Because to me, if there's no building taller than 5 floors, that ain't a city. That's like a suburban place. So yeah, there's actually in Renton, I believe they built this hotel that's kind of tall, and it just sticks out like a sore thumb because everything else is like a couple of stories, if that. You can see it on the interstate. I believe it's in Renton, but it doesn't make sense to me. But yes, to me, city vibes, I even consider Everett. It doesn't give me a city vibe. Neither does Olympia. You know what I mean? It just doesn't really give me that. To me, city vibes are going to be Tacoma, Seattle, and Bellevue. That's pretty much it. In the thumbnail of this video, I'm going to try to include a map that shows Renton so you can kind of have an idea of where it is, because I haven't really done a breakdown video of different cities before, really, here like that. I've done neighborhoods of Tacoma, but I haven't done it in terms of just the cities, in the Puget Sound region. So I understand you're saying Seattle-Tacoma district. I know you're saying each direction of the Puget Sound. So that is key. Now, here's the thing. I know people from Atlanta, actually. They're hoping to move here. But you're moving next month, which is really soon. Renting something, making 60 to 80 grand a year, you should be fine, right? If you're a single person, $60,000 to $80,000, you should be fine. Now, are there certain places that you're going to be like, woo, yeah. The prices here, because I know people from Atlanta, when they come here, they're like, the rent prices are insane. Yeah. So are there places in Atlanta that charge rent that's like some of the places here? Absolutely. Sure. Sure. But here, even some of these scraggly apartments can be kind of pricey. It really depends on what you're looking for. So there's that part of it. When it comes to wanting a city feel, again, I would say take a look at Bellevue, Seattle, and Tacoma. Now, Bellevue, it's gonna hurt because the rent prices there are just insane. I'm letting you know now. Anything that is basically considered east of Seattle, and if you can just draw a line up Lake Washington, just imaginary line before you get to Mercer Island, anything east of that is going to be pricey. So, yeah, because you're getting over there towards, once you get over to Bellevue, you're getting over there towards Redmond, and you have Microsoft based out of there. Bellevue is where Amazon started, but they're trying to actually make it their second pseudo headquarters, really, because they're really ramping up there. Microsoft is also there in Bellevue. Facebook is there. There's tons of stuff. So what you see as far as companies in Seattle, you see to a great degree in Bellevue as well. So that whole east side area, in terms of just cities, it's gonna hurt. Then if you go too far east, you're getting into snow country. So it's like once you get over there towards the things are kind of like a V shape, and you're driving through the road area. That stuff, like some of the stuff like Issaquah, certain areas, it's like it's going to be a dumping of snow. So it depends. But those other areas I mentioned, you're not going to get the city vibe. You're just not. So that leaves it to Seattle, depending upon if you want to pay the money for Bellevue. There's some places you can find that would be, you would probably consider affordable, but you got to really consider how you want to handle the driving situation where your job is too, because it can be brutal. If you have a job in Seattle but you're living in Bellevue, driving that is going to suck. Just being honest, it's going to suck quick. If you are they are working on building a light rail system, and they've actually started building it and all of that, and it should be completed relatively soon, but it's pointless if you're going to be moving next month because it's not going to be done next month. So it's going to be a couple of years out for that to be completed. So if you had a more permanent thing like buying a house, I would say, yeah, you could probably get a house in Bellevue, not worry about it, because you can take the light rail into Seattle if you were to get a job in Seattle or any of the other areas that are north and south of Seattle. Linwood is also getting the light rail system. Federal Way is getting the light rail system. But really and truly, once you leave Seattle, you get into suburbia pretty quickly, right? So if Bellevue doesn't fit, Seattle would be the next thing. Seattle has a lot of cool neighborhoods. Believe it or not, there's a lot of really cool, unique neighborhoods. They're all completely different. And so they have their own charm to them. Some people like it, some people don't. I would advise going to Seattle and going to some of these places. Ballard used to be the place that everybody wanted to move to, and now they're like, you know what I mean? It's just like Fremont. At one point, that was the place. And people are like, nah, University District is now becoming the it place there in Seattle. I'm not saying Ballard isn't anymore, but University Place is now, not University Place, that's here, but University District is becoming kind of more hip again because the area around the university is starting to get developed more. There's mass transit there in terms of the light rail system. So every area in Seattle is going to be very, very different. You might want to try it out. Tacoma, again, is probably going to be much more affordable. You can pretty much rent anything here. If you're a single person, $60,000 to $80,000. The apartment prices are not going to be much different, to be honest with you, than what you see in Seattle now. It used to not be the case. It used to be you could get a good deal here. Now, not so much. You still may find a few places, and there's some apartments I would avoid. And people don't listen when I tell them, like, I can't explain outside of the downtown too much. You know what I mean? Like, some folks want to find a good deal and they're like, ooh, this place is only $650 for a studio. If it's $650, there could be a reason why it's $650. I'm not trying to shade anybody or be rude, but don't go for just the price. And you see people like, oh, that's a good deal, because they're seeing rents every place else 1,800 and 1,400 and 1,300, and ooh, this one's 650. You really need to do your homework on it. So I tell folks, downtown, if you're going to be in Tacoma, downtown is going to be a much safer bet. It just is. Once you start going to some of these other places and you go outside of Tacoma a little bit, there's some sketch. And folks get mad and they're like, well, he didn't talk about this. But it's like, yeah, there's some areas that are a little sketchy. But you're going to find that also in Seattle. You're not going to find that in Bellevue, but you're going to find a little bit of that up in Seattle. So it really and truly depends. But Tacoma is going to give you more bang for your buck most of the time. And you're going to be able to get some pretty decent stuff. And it's a city vibe down here. But I would suggest living downtown. One, because it's going to be very convenient for a single person. It's really nice. When it comes to social life, I would say, I don't know about Bellevue, but in Seattle is mainly known for being one of the largest city that has the largest amount of singles. So you're in good company there. In Tacoma, there are some single people here. I don't know the details of that. But we do have a entertainment district. Seattle, their clubs and bars and everything just span all over the place, right? In Tacoma, it's more neat. So the bars, we don't really have a lot of clubs, but the bars are just kind of in one area downtown. You have some stuff around the University of Washington downtown. You have a few different places. McMenamins is always a good place, and that's where a lot of people go, especially professionals, young professionals like yourself. Yeah, a lot of people go there. It is a bit of a meat market. I'm not gonna lie, it is a bit of a meat market, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But and I say that because when Noelle and I went in there, there were people who would just stare at me, like women who would just like stare and smile, and it's like, but I'm with my woman, you know what I mean? That type of thing. It also is cool with McMenamins because there's so many different themes. Each floor has a different theme in terms of bars and social setting and things like that. But there's more stuff that's coming to Tacoma that makes it pretty interesting. Now, when it comes to, you want to be near water, depending upon where in Renton that you're wanting to live. Renton is very suburban, okay? Depending upon where you want to live in Renton will decide if you're going to be close to water, and how close are you talking? Are you talking like, you can look out your window and see it, or are you talking within walking distance, or within driving a couple of blocks you can get to it? It depends on what do you mean by that. I know in Atlanta you're just surrounded by nothing but just land, right? Here there's water everywhere. Like when you're not paying attention, oh, there's water. So it's hit and miss. So that's going to depend. So everything is going to be kind of depend. I can't give a solid answer because it really does depend. Let's see, outdoor activity. I can't answer to some of these suburbs because there's so many of them, and there's so many different things that they do, don't do. I can't answer to their parks, but I do know in terms of parks, Bellevue doesn't have a lot, to be honest with you. For the size, Bellevue was supposed to be a tiny town. It just exploded in growth. There's not a lot of parks there. There are some, but not a lot. Seattle and Tacoma have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of parks of all different sizes. You have is it the interurban trail in Seattle, and it literally goes everywhere. It's huge. So you can definitely take that if you're all about outdoor activity. You have Green Lake, which is a pretty big old glacier lake in Seattle where people run and jog and bicycle around that thing all summer. It's really cool. It's really, got a cool vibe. Where else? Tons of parks. Gaswork Park. You have that. You have, what else? I'm missing stuff because it's been a while. But there's tons of stuff. There's tons of stuff to do in terms of outdoor activity. Tacoma has similar stuff. Oh, and also if you're a biker, like you like to bike, I'm not talking like motorcycle, but I'm talking like if you are a cyclist, um, Seattle has a lot of people who bicycle to work or just bicycle for fun. They have a lot of bicycle lanes all over the city. It's kind of known for that. Tacoma is a city that has a lot of parks. The second largest park in the country is here in Tacoma, and it's Point Defiance Park. The first one being Manhattan, the Central Park in Manhattan. So Central Park's number one. The second largest is actually Point Defiance. Here you have a ton of parks. For the size of city, there's a ton of parks and they're huge. Wright Park is downtown. That's massive. You have Fireman's Park, which they've actually updated on our Discord, which you guys should join. I actually included a link of what they're doing in terms of revamping Fireman's Park, which is downtown. Really, really cool. They have this little sculpture where you can walk up to it and you can see it on a clear day. You can see Mount Rainier. Here in Tacoma, you're closer to Mount Rainier, so you're going to always see Mount Rainier pretty much anywhere you go. I will always tell people that in Tacoma, depending upon where you are, you're either going to see water or the mountain or both because it just depends, right? So that's a good thing. When you want to go to the mountain, it's not that far from here, to be honest with you. Certain times of year you can't go because the road's closed because it does snow up there. Mount Rainier has snow year round. It's a huge volcano mountain, but it has snow year round. So there's tons of stuff to do. There is the Dunes Peninsula Park, which was recently completed. That is amazing. It's got these cool little slides that go all the way down this whole length of this thing. Like Seattle, we have our own zoo and aquarium down here. We have a museum campus, which is the largest museum campus in the Pacific Northwest, which is downtown. Let's see, what else? We also have a trail. I mentioned this in one of the videos I did talking about the neighborhoods of Tacoma. We have a trail that goes all the way from downtown all the way out to Point Defiance Park. People take that long route, which is several miles. They take that route to bicycle, run, jog, whatever you want to do, walk. You see a lot of people during the summer months, and even in the colder months, you see a lot of that too. So if you're really into outdoor activity, there's a lot of stuff to do down here. Pretty much what I would tell folks is go to Seattle and then go to Tacoma and then, research them and see what they have and then try to see which one's better for you. Because the only thing that Seattle beats, I shouldn't say the only thing, Seattle beats Tacoma in terms of pomp and circumstance. It beats Tacoma because of the glittering buildings and all of that type of stuff. But when it comes to like amenities, Tacoma is punching up pretty high. It's not a problem. There is also another park that the city is developing and building. So you have that. You have Car Creek. Is that what it is? Car Creek? I don't know. Noelle goes to it with the girls. You have that park. There's tons of them. There are even, and I forget the name now, there's even a park here where at one point there were roads that they built through and they stopped and they just let the whole thing still be forest. And it is one of the hidden gems of the city, right? So there's tons of stuff. Brewery District, if you really and truly want, I don't think Seattle has one, but Tacoma definitely has a brewery district, tons of breweries, a lot of neighborhood bars and brew pubs and brew houses. It's known for that. So there's tons of stuff like that all within downtown. It's easy to connect to different places downtown because you have the Tacoma Link Light Rail, which is free, and it takes you throughout downtown. They're expanding that. It goes up into Hilltop. So when it comes to the money that you're talking about making, you shouldn't have a problem, even with uh, getting a luxury apartment in downtown Tacoma, you should be fine. It depends on what you're willing to pay. Like there's studios at brewery blocks. Again, it's taken its name off of the brewery district in Tacoma, but that loft structure that they have for a studio is $1,800 a month. So that gives you an idea. But there are also places downtown that obviously don't cost that much at all, and you're probably paying $1,100 a month. You can find prices all over the map when it comes to downtown. So yeah, I mean it's more or less what are you looking for? Some people like Seattle because it's the hustle bustle, big city, all day long. It's big city, and you get that vibe, right? There's always stuff going on. There's the sports teams that are down there. So if you're into all that, you have that. Here, Tacoma's much more sedated. You don't have the hustle and bustle. You don't have the jam-packed streets. It's a lot more easygoing, but there's a lot of stuff to do. We have a lot of minor league teams here. We have baseball. We have two soccer teams here, female soccer team, as well as a male soccer team. So it depends. It really and truly depends on what your vibe is. But I would say all of the cities, in my opinion, with the exception of three, are going to be suburban style. Just kind of strip malls. They have their own little downtown, but it's nothing that's spectacular. It's kind of cute and quaint. Some people want that. Some people like Puyallup because it gives you that quaint little village vibe. But it's suburban, right? It's just right next door to Tacoma. Some people like Federal Way because it's a little bit more busier and bigger, but it's a suburban city. But if you really want a city, you're going to have to go to Bellevue, Seattle, or Tacoma. Anyhow, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, make sure you ask. Congratulations on the job. Congratulations on moving here next month. I think it's amazing. I would say definitely take a trip if you can and visit Seattle and Tacoma and even Bellevue and even Renton or any of these other places and see what makes sense to you. Spend time. Don't go to the touristy spots. Go to where the locals are, because that's going to, go to the downtowns, obviously, because that's important, but go to the local areas. Go to where most of the people live. And I tell people that even if they choose to live in downtown Seattle or Tacoma, go out to Greenwood in Seattle, go out to Finneywood, and go out to Fremont, and go out to these different places and see how people, Ballard, see how people live. And then if that is cool with you, you could probably make it there. Keep in mind, Seattle gets very, 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 very busy. As you know, you're from Atlanta. It's a busy city too in terms of tourists. A lot of tourists during the tourism season. So that's a turn off for some people. When it comes to Tacoma, we don't have that. Most of the tourists that come here are local. They're coming from someplace in the region here, typically. If concerts are your thing, both cities, Seattle and Tacoma, have venues. So we have the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, which has huge concerts of any type of act that you can think of. Any popular singer or artist or show comes there. In Seattle, we even sometimes beat Seattle. But now they have Key Arena, which is being revamped and updated. And once they're completed, they're going to have a whole lot of shows there too. So again, it depends on what your style is. Do you want busy or do you want a little bit more sedated? Both are cities. Both are going to give you a lot of good things. Both of them have a decent sort of, Seattle has a better nightlife scene. It's not going to compare to Atlanta. I can tell you that. Neither, if you take all of the nightclub scene in Seattle and all of the nightclub scene in Tacoma and you combine it, it's not going to touch what you have in Atlanta. Facts. But it depends on what you're looking for in terms of coming here. Is it easier to make friends in Tacoma versus Seattle? I think most people would say yes. Seattle is a hard nut to crack for some people. So that's something that's why I tell folks, go to the non-touristy areas. The touristy areas, all of the people working there are going to be nice. And all the people you run into are going to be tourists. Go to places where there's no tourists. In Tacoma, you're going to see more of just local people. And so you're going to have a lot of people that say hi. You're going to see a lot more diversity, that type of thing. So again, it's up to you. Hope I answered your questions. If you have any other questions, make sure you leave them. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you join our Discord. It's going to be down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.